Hello, dear students. I hope you're all well and waiting anxiously for the English class. Have you ever seen a shadow or wondered how a shadow is formed? Today, I'm going to tell you something about a shadow. Have you seen an opaque object? An opaque object is an object which is not transparent. When you keep an opaque object in front of light, a shadow is formed. When you stand in front of light, you will see your own shadow. When you go out and stand in the sun, you will see how a shadow is formed. Early in the morning at sunrise and in the evening at sunset, you will see your shadow long. In the afternoon, if you go out at 12 and stand in the sun, you will notice that your shadow is very small. Today, dear students, I'm going to deal with a poem from your textbook entitled My Shadow. Listen very carefully as I recite the poem for you. My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. Not at all like proper children, which is always very slow, for he sometimes shoots up taller like an Indian rubber ball, and he sometimes gets so little that there's none of him at all. One morning very early, before the sun, I was up. I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed. Dear students, now just listen to the short explanation of the poem, My Shadow. In the poem, the poet is fascinated. Fascinated means he is excited to see his own shadow. The poet realizes that his shadow is exactly like him, from the heels up to the head. Heels means the bottom of his foot, that is, the lowest part of your body. The poet feels that the growth of the shadow is very funny. He says that the shadow does not grow the way proper children usually grow. You have seen that the growth of children is usually very slow, but the shadow suddenly shoots up. Suddenly shoots up means it suddenly becomes very big. And sometimes you see that there's none of him at all. None of him at all means that the shadow disappears completely. The poet compares the shooting up of the shadow to an Indian rubber ball. You must have noticed that when you bounce a rubber ball, the rubber ball goes high up. In the same way, the poet feels that the shadow also grows up very tall all of a sudden. Early in the morning, the poet goes out and realizes that there isn't any shadow. He feels that his shadow is very lazy and still fast asleep in bed. not realizing that before sunrise we do not see a shadow because there is no sufficient light.